Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because I have the brand new Hyundai Ioniq 9. This is a 3-row all-electric SUV, and today we are going to find out just how family friendly it actually is. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of 4 and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. Let's get started. Now, first I want to start by talking about the price of this car. Okay, this is the SEL trim. This is one of the lower trim levels, and it still has an MSRP of $68,000. You guys, that's a lot. All of these electric SUVs have such higher price points than I was hoping for a couple of years ago, and I really do think it kind of puts them out of the market for a lot of families. So, with that being said, you're talking about $68,000 for this car with a range of about 320 miles on a good day. Let's start by taking a look at the exterior, okay? I find it very cohesive with the rest of the electric Hyundai lineup. I like the interior better than the exterior, but I don't hate it. I don't actually think it's giving too EV, and I think Hyundai's kind of done a really good job of making their ICE vehicles look so much more futuristic that it doesn't put this electric car out of place. This is what the new Palisade's probably going to look like, so I think it's all good. Okay, so let's take a look at this interior, all right? We've got that beautiful curved display. And Hyundai has just, I think, such great technology. One of my favorite features that they offer is that blind spot camera. So when you just turn on your blinker, it'll show you your blind spot. And I love that this just feels very familiar to me. I think that when manufacturers keep their EVs, keep their models cohesive, it does better for owner loyalty, because if I'm in a Palisade and I can get in this Ioniq 9 and it feels like my Palisade, I'm way more likely to just, go EV than if it felt like a totally different car. So I love Hyundai's interior. I won't spend a lot of time in it because we talk about it a lot, but it's excellent. Okay, moving down here, we have our vents, we have our audio, and then our climate control. I appreciate that all of this is pulled out. A little bit of storage right here with our charging capabilities. There's a cubby here, and then there's this open floor space. That's very common in the EV world to have this like more open concept, just kind of the way the cars are designed. It's not my favorite personally. I just think that things roll can cause, like, I honestly don't even know how it's legal, if I'm being honest, because I just feel like something's going to roll. With the things that my children leave in my car, something's just going to roll underneath my heel, and it's just going to be a disaster. But that's okay. All right, we have our cup holders, our wireless charger, which I will give a nod to this wireless charger because it's excellent. Look at this. Started charging right away, and it even shows me that it's still charging. I love that. Okay, inside here we have our center console. Really, wow, really deep. That's like kind of like almost too deep. That's crazy. Overall, I think the interior design is nice. I'm anxious to get in a higher trim level one, like a calligraphy, because this one does feel more simple, more bare bones than what I'm used to in some other Hyundai interiors. One thing I'll point out, and I'm trying not to be too opinionated on this, but I don't like that they lost the Hyundai logo. I don't really get the 4 dots, and to me, I just wish they'd like be proud that it's a Hyundai. Like, it's a nice Hyundai, that's okay. Like, put the logo on there. Something minor. I just find it to be kind of an interesting design choice. But let's get to the second row. So I actually was excited to see that they had this SEL because they have the bench seat, and I really like bench seats for families. I talked about this a ton, so I wanted to see if they fixed some seatbelt overlap issues that we find in the Palisade, and I fear that they did not. Yeah, this is tough. Do you guys see this overlap here? Just this jumbled mess. So car seats will not allow multiple car seats to be installed when you have this kind of seatbelt overlap. So yeah, that sucks. You could maybe get away with installing something here with latch and then installing the middle with the seatbelt. I think that would work. But typically when we're doing like really complicated 3 across situations, we need to do a seatbelt installation so we can kind of move the car seat over a couple of inches. So that is disappointing to see they did not fix the overlap. It's just not a great bench seat. It's exactly like what we found in the old Palisade. So that is what it is. But in terms of the car seat hardware, you do have lower anchors on both these outboard seats. You have tether anchors across the bench. And in the third row, you have lower anchors and tether anchors in both seating positions. And there's only 2 seating positions, which I love, which we'll talk about when we get to the third row. But let's talk about some amenities back here, shall we? Honestly, spacious. I mean, I have this seat set for myself, and look at all my leg room. So remember, what does passenger legroom mean? It means that good room for car seats. So this is one of those cars that I feel like works good for teenagers, adult passengers back here, but also if you're going to have big rear-facing car seats, you're going to have a lot of nice room here. We also have ceiling vents, one of my favorite family amenities because it's better for circulation, especially for those kids in car seats. We have our climate control down here, heated seats on this SEL trim, which I think is impressive. And then this is the storage cubby that is actually attached to the center console. And one thing that Hyundai does in some of their cars is they've included this like reverse console, so your second row can also access it, which is kind of a cool feature. And you can move this seat from back here. There's some buttons here, which I think is kind of a nice touch, as well as charging on the back of the seat. The charging on the back of the seat is really important because it puts the devices much more eye level. When they're down here, it becomes a jumbled mess. This was a very genius feature that Hyundai added. Okay, some more things. I mean, head clearance is great. Like, I feel very spacious in this car. We've got door cup holders, which I love. Such a door cup holder girl. There's no sunshades on this trim, but I do know you can get sunshades. And then we've got some additional cup holders right here. So all in all, I actually think it's very comfortable. I'm impressed with the depth of this seat. So although we don't have a ton of width and we have that weird seatbelt issue, very deep seats. I mean, I have good knee support. I'm very comfortable. Okay, let's get to third row access. Okay, so for our second row, first things first, they are on tracks. I love that because it gives more flexible leg room depending on who needs it most, right? Like if we have maybe just a forward-facing car seat and we're going to have our older kid in the third row, you can kind of, move the seats as needed. So it's a 60-40 split. So those two seats are attached. This seat is separate and it utilizes the tilt and slide. So I'm going to hit this button. Or is it a car seat tilt? I didn't realize that. I don't think the other, hold on. I don't think the other side does it though. Yeah. Okay. So do you guys see that? That's very interesting. Okay. Stay right there. I'm honestly okay with that because like a double seat car seat tilt would be kind of crazy. And I do think this still gives some nice versatility, but wow, that's really exciting to have a car seat tilt. I knew they added it to the Palisade for 26. I didn't know that it was on the Ioniq. Wow, that's really exciting. Okay, let's get back there. So here I am kind of squished in the third row. We have this seat pushed all the way back. And as you can see, my knees are pretty pressed up against it. Now, there's a ton of legroom up there, so we could absolutely move it up a little bit. But it's not the most spacious third row, just regardless. However, something I am liking is, one, the addition of the lower anchors and the tether anchors. That's a huge win. You would be surprised how many cars don't offer this hardware back here. I also like that we only have two seats, you guys. That makes it so much better for passengers and car seats and boosters alike because it's two comfortable seats. It's not three tiny seats where then you're sitting on buckles. I hate that. Amenities are good too. We've got the ceiling vents, the charging, the cup holders. Honestly, like a big window for being in a mid-sized through SUV. Like I feel like I've got some good visibility out of here. Now, to exit the third row, you can hit this button and it will tilt and slide the seats forward. And then you could also pull it back yourself. So check out that. When kind of splitting the difference between the second and third row legroom, I'm a lot more comfortable. I mean, I could definitely drive like this. I also want to note that the second row headrests are removable. The third ones are not, which is, common, what I would expect. And I think they did truthfully, I think they did a pretty good job. All right, let's take a look at the trunk. Just hit a button right there. And then you will notice it's a little bit of a higher floor. That's very common in EVs. A little bit of storage underneath here. We have a hook. So if you wanted to keep this open, you could hook it to the headrest, which I like. Oops, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to put that back how it was. And this is our trunk space. Now, for a lot of families, this might not be enough trunk space. So one of the big benefits of getting that bench seat is the ability to lay the third row down if you don't need it for passengers and have a safe way to travel with the third row down. Think about it. If you were to get the captain's chairs, well, then it'd be very sketchy to like put groceries here because then there's an aisle. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons, aside from, fitting more passengers, I do think the bench offers just more cargo space when needed. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this quick Hyundai Ioniq 9 tour. I'm sorry I didn't have any of my cars with me today, but don't worry, this will definitely not be the last time that I tour this vehicle because I'm very excited to have another electric three-row option for families.